It's already that radiant's all pumped up because it was cold night,
Right.
and then it warms up and you're sweating to death.
Well, the good part is it also air conditions, and around here we get so humid on the inside to boil, it's like soggy. You don't have to wrap towels around it anymore.
The seasonal one I have, that's one of the ones down. I have two apartments down back in the garage. The seasonal one, I'm actually going to put a heat pump in probably in August,
Yeah.
just because that's something people they ask about.
Mhm.
I mean, you could put a window air conditioner, but it's not the same thing.
No, it isn't.
The heat pump unit out, it's actually 3 different systems, and one would be in the living room, dining room, and then actually it's four units. But
Going by, just stop in, and I'll be glad to show you ours, because it's really cool, the heat pump set up.
well, I've used them. It's a little spendy.
It all costs money.
They probably still have some rebates for those, don't they? Just
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
It's like $1,500, something like that.
No, the multi-unit heat pumps are $750.
Oh,
I think a single unit.
so
is
they've cut it in half from what it was.
Was it that much before?
It was 1,500 at one point, if I remember right. Because I had a client that I priced one for them, and they ended up getting the rebate. It was 3 years ago.
$750 rebate on the heat pump hot water heaters also.
Yeah.
So they might have gotten 15 total.
And that's a good deal, because it takes the moisture out of the air and it heats up from the furnace.
Was
when it
that
gets
case
hot.
ordinance signed copy been sent?
So-
Well, the
Efficiency.
contract you guys have to authorize me to sign the contract.
Oh, that's right. The town.
They
we
insulated.
have
I
to
couldn't believe they
authorize, that's
insulated
right.
most of the
Never mind.
upstairs in one day, and the bathrooms. 'Cause I'm doing all the
It's a
bathrooms.
pain in the- to do radiant flooring. It really is. And so, I mean, Kevin believes in it, so he's not listening, but I would put heat pumps in a place all the time. That thing isn't recording yet, is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. I've asked for a copy.
It's YouTube
That's
live.
right.
Just on YouTube. I don't know how I can give you a copy.
Oh, please do.
Just on YouTube.
Find a way, find a way.
Mike Ryan phoned.
Just
me.
defer to my turn.
He's dying to come here, so.
You moved too quickly through that.
I know.
Dying.
I
It's dying. That's all I heard.
know. No, so he might be here.
Good.
Yeah,
No, they're all good. So obviously, they're all starting to show up.
yeah, they are.
Where we live.
It was 85 there.
Mary's down in Southern Maine. She said it was almost 80
Yeah.
down around Portland.
Whoa.
Yeah.
80.
Wow.
They had 2 days together here.
I know. They can blow up some of that heat up there on us. And some dry air. We need dry.
I took Shepherd out for a walk this morning. It was misty. I wasn't worried. I got to where I was gonna walk. I opened the car door. I stepped outside. For the next 45 minutes, it's just the heavens. open.
It is awful.
Yeah, I'm so tired of it.
How's your dogs doing in all this rain?
Oh, they don't love it, but yeah, they're fine.
Can't wait to get that
Your
sheetrocker
car's
going.
paying for it.
We could bring Marge along for more color.
He's gonna do 300 sheets in 2.5 days.
That's right. Yeah, but it makes it more interesting anyway.
Well, since we're
That's
on
fast.
18 Shore Road, just kind of.
300.
trying to glass it.
And a lot of them are 12-foot sheets.
I know.
He said $2,500, maybe
Your
$3,000
grass
to
is
do the whole
growing
place.
well. It is. Well, you
Pretty good
can
for
only
sure.
grow so many plants. Wait, I'm kidding.
All right, I've got 5 o'clock. Because the terms of the chair and the vice chair have expired, I will be calling the meeting to order and conducting the annual election of officers. So roll call, we have Selectman Howdy Goodwin, Mike Manzalili, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, members of the press and public.
I make a motion to excuse Jamie Thurlow.
Second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Do I hear a motion to nominate a chair?
I make a motion to nominate Jamie Thurlow as chair.
Second?
It actually doesn't need to be seconded. Is there any discussion?
You can make more than one nomination? Is that how
Well,
this goes?
first there would be discussion on this one. And
Okay,
then once discussion is wrapped up, I would call for a vote. And you vote.
I've spoken with Jamie. He's told me he doesn't want the job. I'm willing to have him have it, but I'm not willing to vote for him unless he's here to confirm that.
Well, he told me that he was gonna do it, so.
Okay, well, I mean,
He told-
he's told me different than that, Howdy, and I'm gonna oppose it until he's here to tell me he will.
is it possible that we do this another time? I mean, I'm not comfortable voting for somebody that's not here. I mean,
You could table the election of officers to a future meeting, but I would say that I would respectfully request that we have a motion to approve the warrants because we need to pay our
Yes.
bills. But otherwise, I would not feel comfortable conducting the business of the meeting, just myself,
yep.
and no one else could do it because you don't have a chairman.
Can we just proceed the way we haven't approved him as a chairman. Can't we just proceed the way with the current chairman and
their
vice chair?
terms expired.
The terms
Terms
Fine.
expired, yeah.
So we don't have.
So currently there's a motion out there to nominate Jamie. Well, I did see a hand out there.
No, I was wondering, could the board vote for one meeting to continue with previous?
I'm sorry?
Could the board vote for one meeting to continue with the previous?
If there was a motion-
officers?
Well, after we vote on this one, if that vote does not pass, then I would, take another motion to nominate someone else to be chair. And then they could proceed that way. So is there any other discussion on the nomination for Jamie Thurlow? All right, so all those in favor of Jamie Thurlow as chair? Okay, so I see 2 in favor and all those opposed. 2 opposed. Motion does not pass.
I'm not opposed to Jamie being chair. I'm opposed to voting for Jamie if he's not here to speak up for himself.
Sure, and
No, I
Katie,
feel,
can you
I
make
feel
the
the same
minutes
way.
reflect that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't think Jamie is the
Okay.
guy.
Are there any other nominations?
I'll nominate Kevin Buck as chair.
The nomination for Kevin, is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, here, 2 in favor. All those opposed? Got 2 opposed, motion does not pass. Are there any other motions?
You want the job, Mackenzie?
No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope.
I will ask the question again, could there not be a motion made to continue with the current board in their respective roles for this meeting until the next one, when you've got all 5, and it can be decided?
So typically just to answer that question, the term of the chair is 1 year. However, the chair may voluntarily resign at any time. And so the chair could be nominated or could be elected tonight. And then if they chose to voluntarily resign their seat next week, then it would effectively.
So essentially we could nominate Jamie, and if he doesn't want the position next week, he'd say he doesn't want it.
But he's not here to conduct the meeting.
There's already.
Well, then it goes to the vice chair, just like any other meeting.
Yeah, but we don't have a vice chair either.
Well, we can do that too.
I would just say, under Robert's rules, if there's already a motion that's passed and been voted on, it should not be, the motion's already been voted on. So I don't think there should be the same motion again. It's already been decided.
Can I nominate Kevin for today
You could.
to get through this meeting, and then we can do this again next week? Is that?
Right, you could nominate Kevin for a term expiring June 2nd, 2019, which is 1 day before your next meeting. I don't see why not.
Okay.
It's a different,
Okay.
In my mind,
Short
that's a
story in
different
history, I
motion
like that.
from this motion.
And then hopefully all 5 of us are here, whatever, June 3rd or whatever it is next, and then we start again.
That you
Yeah,
can,
you guys talk Jamie and tell me he'll do it. I'll vote. for it.
I asked him, I said,
No, he
are you
told me
interested in
he
doing it?
would.
He goes, are you interested in doing it? I said, no, I'm not. I said, would you do it though? He goes, I'll take it over, he says, so.
Okay. Well, he told me he didn't wish to.
Yeah.
And this was last week.
He told me last week.
He phoned this.
He said he thought about it, and he says, he goes, I'd do it.
Okay, well, if he tells me that, he'll be chair.
so is there another motion?
Okay, then I will make a motion to nominate Kevin Buck as chair, term expiring June 2nd, 2019. That gets us through this meeting and we can carry on.
Second.
You know, again, it doesn't need to be seconded.
Okay.
Right.
All right, all those in favor? All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Vice Chair.
I make a motion to appoint Mike Massicilli as vice chair.
Oh, not me.
Why not? You said you would.
Did you, just for clarification, do you want to have the same expiration date as the chair, or are you nominating for the full year?
For the full year.
Do you want it, Mike?
I'll take it. If you guys want me to do it, I'll do it. I might as well.
I'm not voting for anything until we're all here together. So,
There's any other discussion?
It may make sense to table it until you see if Jim's chair. I mean, up to you. What would you prefer, Mike? I guess since you've been nominated.
I mean, I don't want to be chairman. I don't know if I quite want that yet.
I don't blame you.
But, vice chair, it's not much different than what we're doing right now, so. Or what any of us are doing, so it doesn't really, I'd do it, I guess. Yeah, I'd do it.
Okay, so there's been a motion. Is there any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion to nominate Mike Mansalili vice chair? Can I see your hands high?
Can I vote for myself?
Yeah.
How's that work? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so I see 3 in favor. All those opposed?
and again, I'm not opposing because it's any particular person. I'm opposing because I think all 5 of us should be here together to vote on this. I'd be okay with Mike with the expiration that we just did Kevin, but not the full term until all 5 of us are here. So that's my spiel, but you guys voted.
Okay.
Congrats to you.
The motion passes with 3 in favor and 1 opposed. Mr. Chairman, take us away.
There we go. Okay, adoption of agenda. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? Approval of minutes. We have the minutes of May 6, 2019.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 6, 2019.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of May 6. Hold on, that's my place. Yeah, May 6.
May
sorry.
6, yeah.
Looking at the wrong page. All those in favor? Okay, approval of warrants. We have warrant 119 for $9,678.99. Warrant 120 for $34,917.09. Warrant 121 for $383.25. Warrant 122 for $5,480.71. And warrant 123 for $9,373.03.
I make a motion to approve warrants 119 through 123.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 119 through 123. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, committee appointments. We have the appeals board and your term's expired, Mike, and you're willing to continue? Correct. Okay.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mike Hayes to the seat on the appeals board expiring at the 2022 town meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Mike Hayes to the seat on the appeals board expiring at the 2022 town meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor?
And I'll make a motion to appoint Sandy Andrews to the alternate seat on the appeals board expiring at the 2020 town meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to appoint Sandy Andrews to the alternative seat on the appeals board expiring at the 2020 town meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor? Financial
Was there-
reports.
Was there a second? I'm sorry. Sandy?
Yes.
Mike,
Howdy.
I think
Mike,
it was-
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
Sorry.
Financial reports, please.
All right. On the revenue side, there's a couple things that I wanted to highlight. I am currently expecting that the motor vehicle revenues are going to come in about $35,000 less than what was anticipated at the beginning of the year. While that's not a welcome piece of information, it is something that we can absorb in the budget. We've also noticed that the wharf revenues have increased by $13,400 since last month. And that was due to a partial payment on the float grant that we received a couple of years ago. The grant actually came in. And so there'll be another smaller payment that'll be reflected on the May financial reports, but we've already received that one as well. So that'll bring the total revenues there up to $15,000 above what was received before. And then the harbor fund revenues have increased by $8,000 since the March financial reports. And $1,500 of that is boat excise tax, and approximately $6,500 is mooring fees. So that's what's going on in revenues. On the expense side, some highlights. You'd see that the administration cost center is at only 76% of what the budget is at for the year, which is great news since we're 83% of the way through the year. The main thing that's under budget is the employee health insurance. So I always, our rates change mid-year, and so I never know what that rate change is going to be. And so I base it off of the average of the past 3 years. It's just been going down every year. And so it's always a little bit less than what we expected. So that's great news.
Have you seen the number?
What's that?
What's the factor that affects that, I guess? Claims?
No, it's, well, it's, yeah, claims is part of it. We're part of a huge pool. And so the factors, how the pool is doing in the stock market, is part of it. So, there's a number of things going on there. And there might be claims on the pool that have nothing to do with the town of Tremont, just other people who are in the pool. And in the protections cost center, you'll see that the full payment, the $300,000 payment for the fire truck is in there, which is pushing that significantly over budget. And that one, logically, that expense should be charged to protections. It wasn't actually in the budget there, but it was approved by town meeting in the in that warrant article. And so I just have to wait. The auditor, when they come next year, will tell us, okay, this is where it should be charged. But that's why that looks like it's so much over budget. And then finally, on the general ledger side, because of those wharf fund revenues, the surplus for the wharf fund is now at about $16,600, which is a significant improvement over last month. And then the harbor fund is also operating at a surplus of about $11,200. So significant improvement over last month. So we've got some nice progress going on in both of those.
Good.
Can I answer any questions?
Good job.
Thanks, Chris. Can we get a motion to accept that?
Oh, I'll make a motion to accept the July 2018 through April 2019 financial reports as presented by the town manager.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the July 2018 through April 2019 financial reports as presented by the town manager. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, regular business, library building project. Are you here to speak to that too, Mike?
Answer any questions you might have.
Okay. I know we saw, Just curious on the change on insulation, who's doing the insulation?
I don't remember the name, it's up to the general
Okay,
contractor.
I didn't know if you know,
No,
because we were just
it's-
talking about that
I
earlier.
don't remember the name, but I believe it's the same person.
Okay, I was wondering, because I knew they'd asked me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was due to a wall, setback issue.
It was,
Yeah, they tried to make the wall
and
narrow.
in order to reclaim some floor space, we decided not to do the double wall construction with the dense pack, but to go to single wall construction with the closed cell foam,
Mhm.
because that gave us the same R value as the double wall with dense pack. And so that's what we're trying to do is keep the same insulation value.
Yeah, Mel mentioned that to me at one point. Yeah. Okay.
Stairway configuration, what's that?
The architect originally called for I don't know almost how to describe this. You come down out of the attic to a landing, and then stairs come down. And in order to give us maximum space in that room, the idea was that lower section of stairs would actually be like on a rail, or rails, that you could slide under the landing. Does that make sense? I'm trying, so when it's not in use, which is like 95% of the time, it wouldn't be chewing up floor space. But as we got into it, we realized two problems. First of all, there's no way that we could secure it enough to meet safety codes. Because you can't have a stair that is on wheels, which is essentially what that was. So we had to devise kind of a curved stairway down, which then necessitated changing a window. Moving, we had a double window back there that we thought we'd be able to save and not have to change the window, but because of the fixed stairs, and that's really what it is, we had to make the stairs permanent, that we couldn't have people walking down next to a window. It's just a safety issue. So that's what drove that change.
And the construction, the stick frame construction of the roof system.
Yeah, we had a real hiccup as we were laying out the perimeter of the foundation. And as we looked at where are they called batten boards? I may be wrong, where the cement comes up against to stop it. We looked at it and said, this looks too close to the property line. So we went out, ran line, got the surveyor back to make sure we were doing it right. And we found out that we were out of the zoning envelope, and we had to move things in. Once we did that, we started losing square footage. I mean, that one problem drove just a whole lot of other things, including that we realized that the idea was with the trusses that we would be able to get 15 all of the same size and nice and manufactured. The problem's gonna be that each truss is gonna be slightly different. So doing it on site is about the only way to do that.
Makes sense. Did
Sounds
she
terrible.
did she have to sign off on all these change orders?
The architect?
Yeah.
We got a verbal on all of them.
She was good with it then.
Yeah,
Okay.
we had a loud discussion. We had the discussion, and, it was like most compromises, everybody walked away unhappy. That it wasn't this and it wasn't that, but it was the most we could do, and because our assumption going into it was, we cannot go asking for some sort of variance.
Right.
On this, this is just not the right thing to do for a town, organization to do, so.
And this you have, I'm assuming you have the funds available for this.
We do.
Okay.
We do. In fact, we have still a number of other things we would like to do, but we've decided that all of those things get put on hold
Till you finished.
until
what
we
you got.
finish, because there's nothing that we want to do that we can't do very late in the game. All right, so this brings us to within about $15,000-$16,000, what we think is our maximum. So we're not you know, we feel very comfortable with this, and we're not gonna do a thing until we're just about finished. There we go. No good deed goes unpunished.
Good to have some contingency money left over.
Oh, Lord, yes. Oh, Lord, yes, yeah.
I make a motion to approve the May 14th, 2019 change order for the renovation in addition to the Bass Harbor Memorial Library to increase the project amount $17,275 for the new total contract, $326,775.
Second.
So moved and seconded to approve the May 14th, 2019 change order for the renovation in addition to the Bass Harbor Memorial Library to increase the project amount by $17,275 for a new total contract of $326,775. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Sure. First of all, thank you again for your support. I have only one goal, and that's not to come back here again. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Okay, next item, summer road work. There's a nice packet with all kinds of information in here. And I bet that's what Jimmy's here to talk about.
Maybe.
I understand that you'd like to have a lot of the work done by the public works crew instead of bidding it all out. Is that correct, Jimmy?
Some of it, not all of it.
Yeah.
So since your meeting on May 6th, I went out with Jimmy and drove the roads and talked through areas that we've talked about in meetings and Jimmy and I have talked about, and that's how I came up with the maps that are in your packet. After I came up with the maps, I also talked it over with Jamie, and then I also rode the roads this afternoon with Howdy. So obviously there's been a couple edits to these since those two meetings that are not reflected on here. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Okay, so what are the general thoughts or changes, I guess?
I guess, my big concern with this is, well, some of it's presented very, very well. I would like to see culvert sizing for, the culvert replacements. Whether we have the town crew do it or we bid it out, we should really know what we're putting in and make sure it's adequate to handle the areas.
There's a standard culvert size that we
Well,
use.
the minimum is 15
Mhm.
minimum. And then the policy over the years that we've done is whatever was there, we usually replace. But that varied from town manager to town manager, okay?
Well, I'm just wondering if some of them have clogged up and silted up because they were undersized too. That's also a thing that,
That's a possibility. And then the other possibility is the drainage of the ditch not washed out the culvert. And drainage on the downside of the culvert. But
I just, some of the ones that I don't want to pick out anyone in particular, but just some of the ones that I've seen seemed like they could be a little bit bigger. You know, if you're gonna, for the cost, there's not much of a cost difference between the ones that you're putting in and say an 18-inch culvert if you had to.
Yeah, but we gotta be careful when we do that, Mike, is that we make sure that we have enough base over the top.
I understand that.
Yeah,
I understand that.
because if you do that, then you lower that cover to get the base for the road surface, then you're gonna have to lower everything else around it.
Right.
I don't mean that as an insult, but
No,
it's the
no.
first thing that comes to my mind. Is that part of the issue with some of the culverts in town, is that there's no coverage over the top of the culvert?
Yeah, some of them are very close to the surface and there's not a lot you can do in some of those areas.
Right, so we have an area on the South Cape Road that Chris and I spoke about that is smaller, but 2'2", to get some surface on top of the culvert.
I 100% agree. You're gaining volume. I mean, that's kind of the key, I think.
But we've always tried to put 15, but I'm in favor, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, you know, whoever decides that, yeah, put it in. it accomplishes the goal of draining the water.
Right.
in-
If you go down too much, they can't do it.
Okay, the driveway on Bernard Road, Chris, where we doubled it up, that stayed this year
It did.
instead of that single cover.
Yeah.
And there's an area in other places that we went smaller but doubled. And I think there's one on Rebel Road.
That's what
That's
I
the
was
one.
thinking.
Yeah,
It's
we
the
saw
one that
that
needs
one
to go
today.
to two smaller ones.
Just where it ends down there.
One
No,
across
the
the
town
the
road.
middle of the road.
Mine's on
Okay.
State Road, but it's 12-inch culvert across the road right there.
But I think part of some of the areas around town is the low point in the road. Rebel Road is one. Okay, so we do have a nice transit now, self-leveling transit that we determine which way the water is actually going. Without having digging a ditch, possibly say 2 feet on one end and then 4 feet on the other end. I've been ditching the the Flat Eye Road lately, and I'm amazed how saturated that is. And it's been difficult because as I've been ditching, the ditch has been filling up with water.
We've had some water this spring.
So, but the last time I've done any work on the Flat Iron Road was Steve Carter owned the house on the end, so it's been a while.
Do you usually seed those and put hay down? Depends.
We should, we don't do it daily. And then you could get into the expense like the state does, they buy it in that roll and roll it out,
The rolled mat.
yeah. I'm in favor of grass seed, but the other day we were gonna do it, but it was supposed to rain hard that evening, so we didn't bother doing it. But some of the bigger projects, guys, I mean, if you're looking to get it done, like I told Chris, contract it out, bid it out. I can only do so much.
I mean, I'd like to, obviously, if we keep some of it done by you, it would be great, but like it's the volume of it, you know? Don't want you to be so overwhelmed that you can't get to all of it, and then we have places that, need the attention.
Okay,
We should probably contract some of it out. I mean, that's how I feel.
I mean, I'm in favor of it, and I spoke with Chris about that.
I think even if we contracted it all out, there's still gonna be work that's gonna come in, town work. I don't think we're gonna eliminate stuff that needs to be done around here. Complete 100%.
For some of the smaller projects, I do believe that the public works has the capability of doing it.
Well, you got a 3-man crew now too, so you
Yeah,
can get a lot
so-
more done. You can stay on top of the.
Where in particular would you like to, would you like to do, Jimmy?
But
Yes, I've
right
done
now,
that.
Flatiron Road, Dodge Point Road, what's some of the other ones, Chris? I know Dix Point was one I wasn't not interested in. The South End Road, I'm not interested in. Hudson Road, we could do. It's not all coming to me, but there's 3 right there. Some culverts around town we could replace.
How about coming up with a list of the stuff you're comfortable that you can, you feel very certain you can get done by the end of the summer? And put that together, and we look towards bidding out the rest of it,
I agree
like
with
Cape
that.
Road. with the-
Yeah, that's a
with
good
the
idea.
legends.
That, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no better judge than you. I mean, you're the one that's working
You're
out
the
there
one that-
every
I
day.
mean, how long
Us.
it's gonna take you to do one, and we don't want you to spend the whole summer on,
Just culverts.
Right.
I mean,
And Chris and I have a meeting and we do on Mondays and then we can go from there, Chris.
Yeah, that sounds really reasonable to me. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. I
Yeah,
think that's
and
the
just-
best course of action.
yeah, and my suggestion would be make sure it's something you feel comfortable you can get done that way,
With anything else that's
Yeah.
coming in, right?
Yeah, just leave yourself a little slack for whatever might happen, the urgent stuff that tends to show up occasionally.
Well, it's a good week this week, I'm on vacation.
because if the sun comes out, he's gonna have a lot of mowing.
Yes.
It'd be nice,
I mean,
it'd be
it's
nice
gonna-
to get them a couple bags of grass seed too, to seed those areas that they're disturbing in, so we don't have all that silt and stuff clogging those culverts back up.
Okay, we just went and got a 50-pound bag for that, to do it as we go.
So in the interest of efficiency and time, so we're not just waiting for every select board meeting to get the next, I'm guessing Jimmy and I will talk next Monday and just decide on which road to tackle first. I'm feeling good about Hodgson personally.
Yeah.
Which road, for him to tackle or for the?
For him to tackle first, because he doesn't, we don't need the Board of Selectmen's go ahead
No,
for the
no.
public works crew to get started on a road.
Can we finish the Flatiron Road?
Oh, of course, yes.
I-
Get- Finish what you started.
I wouldn't, I think we put off the folks on Dodge Point Road as long as
Okay,
we should too.
yeah.
So I think that should be real high on the priority list.
So then Dodge Point Road, will be, like you said, the top of the priority list, and we'll work on, or I'll work on a bid for the others. I would just add, we did the bid, I did the bid on, that one culvert, just one single culvert on Clark Point Road that came back at $10,000. So,
Holy cow.
But on the Dodge Point Road, wasn't we gonna put that one out to bid also because of all the trees that need to be cut?
I think the trees definitely would have to be put out to bid because of the power lines. But the ditching, Jimmy, do you think that would be something you would want to try to
we can
tackle?
do it.
Yeah, I thought somewhere I picked up you were willing to do that one as well.
And it's not a high traffic road, Chris, so.
Right.
Yeah.
So that when,
And that could be on the top of the list, the
Yeah.
to-do list?
If you let me finish the Flatiron Road first. Because this is church now,
Yeah.
like what we were doing.
so
Fine,
we'll go
Jimmy.
Flatiron, then to Dodge Point, then Hudson Road then.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And where's the ledge removal, Chris?
That's on the south end of the Cape Road.
And I did get into ledge.
Around that shop corner?
Chris.
That and, yeah.
Is it the sharp corner on, if you're driving down towards the boat ramp, the sharp corner on the right? Taking that down?
Yeah, that's something we've talked about. I
Okay,
think there's a couple concerns that I have there. I mean, I'm happy to work on putting it out to bid. We know how wide the right of way is there, but what we don't know is if the road is actually in the center of the right of way.
if it's in the right place.
Yeah, and it's possible that it's not in the center, in which case we don't actually know how much ledge we could remove without inadvertently removing someone's private affecting someone's private property. My understanding of the history there is that's a sensitive issue, and I'd want to be careful with that.
We got a lot of culverts going through there too. I mean, if we had to slide the road over 2 feet to get our ledge out, that's, as far as I'm concerned, that's part of the road rebuild. I mean, that road's pretty much gonna get,
But going down there, Mike, on the left, across from there, where you're talking that ledge, it
drops off.
And there's
Yeah.
nothing there.
Yeah, you gotta kind of go the other way.
Yeah.
And my other question is, I guess before we even put this out to bid, will there be somebody that'll mark these areas with stakes or something? And I think we should probably, whoever does the bid walk, I'm assuming you and Jimmy, would probably take all the bidders on the same day. So if there's any questions, everyone's got a note in the air. Everyone's on the same page.
Mhm.
I mean, if we just hand them this, it's, they could just throw any number out there and we don't really know if they're gonna
I think
fulfill
that-
our obligations.
So if we really are serious about that ledge removal on the south end of the Cape Road, I think that the step is either approaching the property owner and finding out if he's going to be upset about that. And if he is, then we need to get a surveyor out there to tell us where that right of way is. And that's going to be a significant cost.
Who owns that property?
Elliot Payne.
Okay.
I think we should probably should have a survey look at it no matter what. If we're gonna be considering ledge removal.
Yeah, it might be simpler to see what he says. I owned a property one time and they rebuilt the corner and it was a flooding problem and it iced over in the winter and they came to me and said, do you mind if we take a 1.5 feet property? And I said, please do. Fix the intersection, and it might be that simple.
And he might
Yeah.
respond that way. I wouldn't know until I asked him.
But there's gonna be a big problem there. Once you remove the ledge, the embankment now is gonna become straight up and down.
I was worried about erosion control.
We might have to blast some out and put some riprap back in.
So hopefully the property owner will allow you to put some kind of slope to it.
it almost for what it's worth, rather than creating a big area where it's a tire catcher, you'd almost benefit from putting a catch basin in there and actually doing it right. I mean, because by the time you blast that out 2 or 3 feet, you're gonna have one heck of a spot for someone to get stuck.
You've only got one cross culvert down on the bottom of that takes all that water across that road.
Yeah.
Measure it.
I saw that along the ocean side that comes out. Yeah.
I put that in years ago. Now you have a culvert system driven all that goes on the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was the whole length of that parking lot, there's a culvert system there.
Down at the ramp?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just think if you hit it, I don't know. I just think for what it would cost for 1 or 2 catch basins, if you're gonna go through all the rigmarole of blasting it out, you might as well just throw 1 or 2 in. I mean,
It's a big.
they're gonna have to dig it out anyway. And it's probably gonna be the same amount of money to blast another couple feet to get that catch basin as it would to blast out 3 feet, so.
Yeah.
So in terms of drafting bids, we've talked about tree removal on Dodge Point Road. We talked about ledge removal on the south end of Cape Road. Just in terms of what I'm gonna have time to do, I don't know if I'll have time to put together both bids between now and your next meeting. Is there one that's a higher priority than the others?
We're all pretty bad shape.
Yeah, but you talked about Dick's Point yet.
Or Dick's Point, that's true, yeah.
That's rough.
I think I'd put the tree,
The tree
First
removal on
one,
Dodge Point.
Yeah,
get that,
Probably.
get that moving.
Yeah, we can easily get that going.
Then I,
And that would be a separate bid item from everything else. You're gonna save money probably in the end.
I recommend parceling these out so that if you do get, I mean, just based off of that one bid, if you put together a huge bid package, then you're sort of stuck with that whole big bid package. And if you get, let's say, bids back for $150,000, $200,000, obviously we can't afford that. Now you can't parcel out the pieces that you do
Right.
want to do and
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
afford.
Yeah.
So if you want just the trees on Dodge Point, let's just do a tree bid.
Yeah.
For that particular one, I would. I think for the earthwork services, I think that's a separate thing. I think it's gonna be more desirable to an earthwork contractor if it's all in one pool. Even if we get a price on each road,
Mhm.
we're really bidding out the bottom number. I mean, that's, if you say it's $10,000 worth of work, they might say, this isn't worth our time. But if they say, well, there's $60,000 worth of work, it's a little more desirable to some of these bigger outfits.
I agree.
Wouldn't you agree, Jimmy?
Yeah.
So do you want me to work on the tree removal bid?
That's what I'd put priority on.
If there was a motion to that effect, it would help me.
And that would be just that road, one road for now? Was there anything else?
You guys are making the motion, not me.
That's the only one that really needs significant tree removal. I noticed Asplund was trimming on Kellytown Road today. That was just probably for power. But I didn't see.
They've
what
been
they
doing
were
that around the whole town.
Yeah, they were just
Overtown.
setting up today.
Yeah,
I
With,
got-
doing the trees on Dodge Point would probably be better to do them first and then the ditching, right?
Yeah, oh, exactly.
they got-
exactly,
yeah.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the ditching is where the tree line
Yeah.
is, so.
There's a lot of dead trees there, so people.
Yep.
And the specifications for that, we'll just write up and send them out, or will we approve those as well?
well, it depends. If I think that the cost is over $15,000, then I need the select board to authorize the bid specs before they go out. So I mean, you're a landscaper, do you think removal of, let's call it 25 trees is gonna be more than $15,000?
I don't think so. And the only thing that I would, I guess, recommend is that we clearly specify. I mean, if do you want just those 25, or do you want anything inside the right of way?
I would say, I would set it up, I would use like the Cape Road.
Because the right of way, inside the right of way would be the best.
Yeah.
That's the best
exactly what
measure.
I would do. I wouldn't say a number.
From the center line of the existing road out so many feet. And that way, if there's any underbrush or anything, they're getting it out of the way right now. Any small trees. So we've got to clear right away and let some light in there. And I know that's a big issue on several of the roads. The trees are crowded in so much, there's no sun getting to them, and they're iced up all winter long.
So it takes about a month to, issue a bid and get bids back and award the bid and all that. So in the meantime, if we're gonna hold off on the ditching until after the trees are done, that means Jimmy might actually go up to Hodgson Road before Dodge Point, not because we think it's a lower priority, but
Just because the trees are so.
just because the trees are still in the way.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You need a motion to get bids for tree removal?
It would, yeah, and it would be helpful, just in case the bids come, I don't want to accidentally violate the purchasing policy by issuing a bid spec that I think is going to be less than 15, but if I come back at 18, then technically I didn't get your approval beforehand. So as long as everyone's understanding that that's sort of,
Could be, okay.
I'm taking a shot in the dark here.
Then I'll make a motion to recommend the town manager get bids for tree removal on Dodge Point Road.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to ask the town manager to get bids for tree removal on the Dodge Point Road. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I have a question about the road work in general. I mean, this
Sure.
is road maintenance and repair. Are we still going with a plan to do the rebuilds? In a Dodge Point Road, I think Hodgson has to be done too.
I know we've been talking about Dodge Point. I know Hodgson has been mentioned. I don't believe there's a plan yet, is there?
Well, it's my understanding is from your discussions during the budget process was that we want to save up enough money in that road improvement program reserve to afford the project, which let's say was $250,000 or $300,000. You're not there yet. You're a couple years away from getting there. And then once you're there, decide which one. I mean, you could.
Right, so no major.
So it does. So this year, you just
No.
don't have the money,
Yeah.
unless you want to take out a loan,
Yeah.
which you don't have town meeting approval for. So.
So that is going on. I mean, that you are thinking ahead for that.
I'm certainly
Yes.
thinking
Yes.
ahead, but I don't want to give you the impression
Yeah.
that it's this year or even next year. It's
Right.
just when the money's there, I think is
Yes.
what the select board.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be maintenance and try to improve it, but it's not going to be a total rebuild until we can afford it.
Right.
Yeah.
But they haven't been forgotten this,
No.
No.
because we can patch it up all you want at the end of Dodge Point Road has to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
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 And there's a couple others that like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're all set. So not got anything else?
Do we need to pass the bid specifications as,
Well, I don't think you want these bid specifications.
Right,
Yeah.
This
okay.
is for,
yeah, so you're gonna come back,
so
do over.
I
Yeah.
did what you requested.
Okay.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, you're gonna have a discussion with Jimmy. You're gonna talk about
Yeah.
And then we'll go.
specifics. Yeah. Okay.
Will you have like some sort of yourself or Jimmy get some rough measurements? Put in the specs for like ditching, say 200 feet of ditching along
Yeah, when we get
Cape
to the
Road
bid specs.
in area, and then reference, your map there or something
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, so far you guys haven't requested me to put together a bid for ditching because you just decided not to take, move this one forward. So when we get to that point, yes, absolutely. Okay. Put whatever you want in the bid specs.
And maybe, if we see what the culvert's there and put the culvert sizes in there. And I mean, just so nobody throws whatever in there.
And Chris, did you run by Jimmy about renting an excavator?
We talked about it a little bit this afternoon. Jimmy,
What do you
wanna-
think of that, Jimmy?
One, I've never used one,
Oh, okay.
okay? And they're all the same, right? If
Oh,
I
yeah.
run the backhoe and the John Deere, I can run that.
Oh, yeah. I'm just thinking it'd be a lot easier for you and faster.
Okay?
Well, what about transport? Do you have a trailer to take it?
Well, you can drive down the road, if it's on wheels.
Well, I was thinking of doing a rubber track one, but you could get a little contractor to move it around to, once you got it to one road and then move it to the next.
But I'm not in favor of the track, like I was speaking with Chris earlier, that when this hot weather comes, we're gonna be tearing up the roads with tracks.
Yeah, you could get a wheeled one.
Rubber tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Rubber
rubber track.
track like
Oh,
mine.
maybe Wheels.
No, rubber tracks on the
Don't
excavator.
they have them with wheels as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, you can get.
Yeah,
away with
but-
it.
The tracks are gonna be a lot easier.
Okay. Now, the question of bringing it to the job site with the contractor is, and then we have to have the ability to leave it alongside the road overnight?
Yeah.
We usually do.
Yeah.
I do a line. I usually just leave it right on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Take the
I
key
mean, you
out.
can find a place to get it off the road and
Now, are they wider than the John Deere? That's another issue with some of these side roads, they're not very wide.
Oh, you'd have plenty of room. I'm just thinking,
I do like the fact that it twists like this.
and not only that, your bucket has a wrist twist on it. So you're digging, yours is going this way. You can't tip your bucket this way.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking it'd be,
For ditching and grading, oh
That's an
man.
advantage. You'd have to give me a few days to, feel for it, but I
Right.
could.
I'm sure you
You-
could do
you
it. I
figure it
mean,
out.
you got the,
Couldn't you go and teach him?
I could.
It's come with air conditioning.
I mean, I'm just thinking about
In a couple.
easier and faster and,
You can take
Well,
mine for
I
a few
would say
days.
that's, if you got the money in the budget, right?
I would look into seeing how much one is for a month and see what we could do with it. And
By the time you buy one per month, you can buy a second-hand one though. Rent it per month.
Yeah, I mean,
You get $600.
we talked about it earlier, just about the market and stuff, so yeah, I'm in favor of it. And
I'd look
just
into, I'd look
consider
into
that
rental
I'm-
price and,
You'll catch on.
Well, I've heard a couple, so I've heard rental and I hear Mike saying that is it worthwhile to look at
Well, I mean, I hate to talk somebody into buying sounds like a scary thing right now, but I will say that last time I had to rent one when mine was down, it was like $600 a day.
Wow.
Yeah,
I think you'd be finding something a lot cheaper.
that's in Trenton, but maybe Bangor, this
Yeah.
is something cheaper, but
Long-term rental, you're gonna get a
Yeah,
lot
long
better deal.
term for a month, I think you'd do.
Yeah, it won't be cheap, but it'll be
So
way
how
less
much
than
does
that
one
daily.
of those cost used?
A
About
lot.
a
20,
lot.
20.
No, it'd be more than that.
Yeah, a bigger one, yeah,
You can get one for 20.
I say look
The one
into
Randy bought
renting
for
one.
20. The one Randy, the 35 Randy bought.
Well,
I
we
mean,
won't-
check it
we
out.
don't-
Worst
Alright,
case,
why
it's
don't-
terrible and we can't do it.
just because there's been discussion of it, would someone mind making a motion so it's in the minutes?
I'll make a motion to recommend that the town manager look into renting, what's it called?
That's
An excavator.
That.
I'm telling you, the numbers are gonna scare you. I'm
Well,
just,
we
I mean, I
can't
don't want
afford
us
to
to buy
buy
something
one.
either, but.
Yeah, yeah. And if it's too much, then it's too much and we,
Mhm.
Yeah.
sorry, Jim, we tried.
Or just even rent versus, look into rental versus buying.
My motion is renting, not buying.
Okay.
Yeah. Second.
We got a second? Okay. It's been moved and seconded to look into renting an excavator for ditching this summer. Any discussion? All those in favor?
You're gonna be busy this summer.
Yeah.
Sounds scary.
You're good, I got 9 weeks vacation time.
Not in
There
the
you go.
summer.
Not actually this weekend.
I can't take it in the winter, I gotta take it sometime.
Anyone got anything else to add on summer road work? Okay, thanks, Jimmy.
All right, guys, thanks.
See you, Jimmy. Have a good vacation.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next item, facilities use policy, application and agreement. Everyone get a chance to read that?
I'm good with it, I guess. After any of these policies, where the changes.
There was never a
There
policy.
was never a
before
policy.
this. This is a brand new policy.
And we want one because of,
There were some questions about the boat races and insurance. I don't think you were at that meeting. Lou was here a few meetings ago. And we talked about like the background of boat races and making sure that the town isn't liable and whatever.
that makes sense. I'll make a motion that we approve the facilities use policy as written.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the facilities use policy as written. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Just to review your questions, that does have an effective date of July 1st, and that's intentional. I didn't want to throw this curveball at the boat races this year.
Good idea.
And so if someone asks if they have, I don't have anything for them.
Yep.
But,
And they don't need it.
and they don't need it. 'Cause
Till
the
next
policy isn't effective until July 1st.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Okay, annual policy renewals. We're gonna have general policies for Board of Selectmen and all kinds of other things.
I'll make a motion to adopt the general policies of the Board of Selectmen as proposed. This is the same one,
This is like,
Yeah.
exact same one we've already.
We're just renewing it basically?
correct.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the general policies of the Board of Selectmen as proposed. Any discussion? I just want to mention up front, it's got the 5 o'clock meeting time on it. Make sure everyone's aware of that.
I think that's better.
I do too. I just want to make sure we all know we're doing it.
We don't have to eat before we come in, we can do after.
Katie and Chris don't have to sit around for 2 hours.
Okay, all those in favor?
I'm saving your overtime wages.
Yeah, exactly, I'm sure.
Okay, saving the time, money.
Yes.
Okay, we have a check disbursement policy.
You skipped number 2.
Where am I? Okay, you got a different order here. Property tax payment policy.
I'll make a motion to adopt the property tax payment policy as proposed.
Second.
I guess I did jump, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'd like to discuss this one.
Okay, why don't we get a second, and we'll open it for discussion.
How do you do
Okay.
that?
Oh, I didn't hear, sorry. Okay, been moved and seconded to adopt the property tax payment policy as proposed. Any discussion?
Is our treasurer Dana Reed?
That's exactly.
I caught it earlier this afternoon and it's corrected in your signature folder.
Okay. And is this any different from any other year other than that? Okay, so.
Fixed it.
Okay, all those in favor? Check disbursement policy.
I'll make a motion to adopt the check disbursement policy as proposed.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the check disbursement policy as proposed. Any discussion?
I think it's the same question, any changes? Well, I mean, it doesn't say anything in the packet about it, so I'm asking. I don't know if there's something that we.
This one, no changes either.
All those in favor? Okay, conduct policy.
Ready?
I'm ready.
I'll make a motion to adopt the conduct policy as proposed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the conduct policy as proposed.
Reed.
No changes.
No changes. Any discussion?
Mike?
All those in favor? Fee schedule renewal. No changes, right?
One change.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But
On you, Chris.
I put it in the packet. You know? We added a fee, a bad check fee, of $30. We did have a bad check that came through a couple months ago, and it's a pain in the butt to deal with. So,
So we need to make sure we're covered for administration time.
exactly. So it's usually the bank fee's around $10, and then $20 roughly covers the staff time.
I think that's
Okay.
completely reasonable.
That's pretty standard, I think.
I'll make a motion to adopt a schedule of department fees as proposed.
Second.
So been moved and seconded to adopt the schedule of department fees as proposed. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, next item, property assess clean energy contract. That's the PACE ordinance.
Correct. It's the contract that accompanies the ordinance.
That's true. The ordinance is passed, but we need to send a contract to Efficiency Maine so they administer it.
You need to authorize me to sign a contract.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign a contract for property assessed clean energy administration.
Second.
Get to the right page, I'll make sure I read it correctly. It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sign the property assessed clean energy administration contract. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, you're up, Chris. Town managers report.
All right. Major emphasis of the last 2 weeks, I issued the streetlights RFQ. We had, of course, town elections and town meeting, quite a bit of time. I worked on the summer road work plan, meeting with Jimmy and Jamie and Howdy. And this morning I attended the court date for the cousins in Ellsworth and the town of Tremont BOS cousins for the code enforcement. There really isn't any update. It's as we expected. It was a very preliminary hearing, and the cousins requested that it would take more than 30 minutes to resolve the case. So the court is scheduling us, and they will notify us when they have scheduled a date. We expect it to be sometime in August or September. Some minor projects going on. Reset the speed radar in Bernard. Set up a DACWA account, which you discussed at your last meeting. So we are now accepting reservations, and we've even gotten a few. Cool. I drafted the facilities use policy and agreement. Working on that bank reconciliation that was part of the financial reports tonight. We are setting up a server for a new version of Trio, and it's also setting up a shared drive on our own server here at the office. So that's an ongoing project. I attended the Bridge Progress Update meeting. I have arranged street sweeping, which should be occurring at the end of the month. Working on getting LED lights put in just upstairs. I don't think we quite have enough money to fit it in the budget for both upstairs and downstairs this year, but upstairs is what gets used the vast majority of the time. So we should be getting LED lights in every fixture up there.
You know that efficiency man will pay for 75%.
Yep.
Okay, just make sure.
Our vendor is
Okay,
taking
good.
care of all of that for us.
Good.
Sent out those agreements for the water treatment system recipients, and I've already started to receive them back. Sent out requests for bid for refurbishing the gym floor. Again, I don't expect that to be over $15,000, which is why I did not bring it to you. But you will approve and award the final bid once it comes back. I had an economic development meeting with Alan Foyer, and we had to order a new dumpster to be placed out at the wharf. This is in addition to the one that's currently there. With the transition to fiberite, rope and other textiles are not allowed in the municipal solid waste stream, which is the same reason we have the apparel impact bin coming in here. And so rope is often what's loaded up in that dumpster, and GOTS won't even pick it up anymore. So unfortunately, that's a major cost. It's going to have to go onto the wharf fund, but there's just no way around it. Office staff, town meeting and election. Jan's working on bank reconciliation. Katie has been working on getting the new elected officials having their oaths administered. She also attended a tax collector conference, and then doing all the follow-up from town meeting and election, like finalizing the minutes and the ordinances and all that kind of stuff. Public Works, they were working on ditching the Flatiron Road, helping launch the floats, and taking the studded tires off of truck 9. Repaired the riding mower, painted the meeting room. You can see the wall behind you looks a lot better than it did 2 weeks ago. Put away the ice skating rink liner, really folded it up nicely and put it away for the winter. They started mowing and weed whacking cemeteries. They moved the radar sign. They set up this room for voting and for town meeting, and working on the town office lawn. Justin was working on getting that DACWA account set up, but the vast majority of his time was launching all floats, which they are all launched. So that's very exciting. And he also had to tow a distressed vessel back to the harbor. It's 5 miles out. Run all the way back. And he was also at town meeting. Yeah. Some priorities over the next couple weeks. I'll be hosting a pre-bid conference regarding the streetlight LED conversion project on Thursday. I'll be attending maybe Wednesday. A day. I'll be attending the Bridge Progress Update meeting. We'll be closed next Monday for Memorial Day, and then next Tuesday will be the League of Towns meeting in Southwest Harbor.
Any questions? Okay, thanks, Chris. Suggestions for the next meeting?
I got one. I'd like to add discussions of, how am I gonna word I guess, how we handle the state roads going forward. That need repair work.
Discussion of state road maintenance,
Yes,
sound good?
perfect.
And we're also gonna deal with the chair situation next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. My term expires again.
That's right. You might get it for another meeting.
Well, actually, I mean, Mike will kick us off next meeting.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get used to that.
That's right, yeah.
I can step down at any time too.
That's true, you can.
Okay. And looks like we have an executive.
Next meeting.
I'll make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, June 3rd, 2019 at 5 PM at the town office.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to hold our next meeting on Monday, June 3rd, 2019 at 5 o'clock. Right here. All those in favor? Okay, now executive session. You're just in the car.
Okay, I'll make a motion to find that the public discussion of these personnel matters should be reasonably expected to cause damage to the employee's reputation and/or to violate the employee's privacy rights, and therefore to go into executive session to discuss the employment, appointment, assignment, duties, promotion, demotion, compensation, evaluation, disciplining, resignation, and/or dismissal of an individual or group of public officials, appointees, or employees as permitted by 1 MRSA 405.6.a.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session on the sheet. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, we're going into executive session at 6:02.